How's it going? Check test 1 2. I am the furthest thing from a professional streamer, so I have no idea if anything is even happening here. Let's see. Maybe nobody that even wants to come on and hang out. It's no big deal. Just giving it a test to see what's going on. If anybody's watching and wants to hang out. Streaming. I am a streaming at the party. I am a streaming and dancing at the parties. Something at the party. Ramses is not dancing. He does not dance at the parties. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, it says I'm live. Yep, there we go. Watching myself. Let's turn that off. Yikes. Yikes. Hey, there's some people. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? We got, is that Killinger? I think that's how you say your name. And then Twice Born. We got Mitchell. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, everybody? This is unplanned, unscripted, just hanging out. That's it. I said it right. Cool. Yeah, and as the title suggests, just a chill stream for a little bit. Well, I have a little bit of time just to hang out and have some, chill conversation. Nothing too heavy, nothing too crazy. Just hanging out. Just, chilling, answering any of your questions you may have, Q&A type stuff or whatever. That's cool. Okay, Killinger, will you be doing a review of the beautiful KJV Note Takers? Who makes it? What publisher? I know there's multiple ones. Are you talking about the ones that are made by like church publishers or? I've seen a few different ones. I'd love to. In general, I love note-taking Bibles. KJV Store. I'll have to check it out. I had no immediate plans to, but yeah, I would love to. I'm all about. You guys know if you've been watching the channel at all, I'm a sucker for a good note-taking Bible. Right now, I've still been reading my KJV study Bible, the Reformation Heritage Study Bible, enjoying that. It's been good. Thought I just posted it on a Facebook group. No, it wasn't me. It may have been somebody else. I posted, I don't know. I don't think it was me. I don't have one, so it couldn't have been me. Douglas says, how long have you been playing guitar? I have been playing guitar since I was, I think around 10 or so is when I started, age 10. And I'm now 35, so math, 25 years. I am not nearly as good as I should be, like not even close, because I've always been more of a rhythm guy. I can play some leady stuff, but there's guys who've been playing a lot less years than I have that are much better than me, for sure. So, yeah. Let's see. Mitchell, did you grow up Reformed Baptist? No. I grew up in a very traditional SBC church. my grandpa was actually the pastor, and lovely church, lovely people. But I grew up in if you don't know, a lot of SBC churches here in the South are kind of dispensational theology. There was some Calvinistic-ish things about it, but there was always, it was more open to debate. And I came to my current position just, through my own personal reading of Scripture, and then just having a lot of questions and seeing what others have said about those questions, even not just books, but people in my life, and coming to those convictions as an adult. Twiceborn says, how's your alpha holding up? Any good patina? Well, Twiceborn, here it is right here. It's got a little bit. You can see some lines there. I actually will have a video dropping tomorrow, so guys be on the lookout for it's the Omega in the Wellington leather that I'll be dropping that tomorrow. And I do some comparisons to kind of show what a new Wellington leather Bible would look like next to one that's had at least some use and break-in time. But it's holding up good. I love it. I've really loved using it. Killinger said, I must have gotten you mixed up with another Colton. My bad. It happens, man. There are Coltons everywhere. We're around every corner, lurking. Like Reformed Baptist Safari Man from my other video. Yeah, Colton is becoming a more popular name from my birth year. It was a more popular name, I guess. Let's see. Jason says, Carlton. Oh, I think you meant Colton, but that's okay. Carlton, I'm watching you from a Tim Hortons in Northern Ireland. Just sitting here reading my personal CSB. Oh, that's awesome, man. I love it. I didn't know they had Tim Hortons in Northern Ireland. That's super cool. Love it. I'm glad you're tuning in, Jason. That's cool, man. I love it. Douglas says, from what I've heard, you're pretty good. I like your style. Oh, thanks, man. I'm definitely not as skilled as I could be. More rhythmic. I enjoy it though. I enjoy trying to write songs and singing and playing. It's a lot of fun. Douglas said you grew up in the Evangelical Free Church. Sounds similar to SBC, at least back in the day. Yeah, I think Free churches are similar in a lot of ways. There's kind of a ecumenicalist thing about them where, you'll have like Calvinists and Arminians and under the same roof. Differences. The big difference, I think, is, if I'm wrong, correct me, I think Free churches allow for different views of baptism within the denomination. I could be wrong. I'm not totally sure. But there's definitely some similarities. Like SBC has, it's kind of a big tent. They're all Baptist, but it's kind of big tent. Colton Honeycutt is who you're thinking of. Okay. Never met that Colton. It'd be cool. It's a great name. Right on. Hey, Joy, what's up? Joy, so good to see you. She's so much fun, guys. Joy, I see her chiming in, not just on my channel, but a lot of other channels that I follow and enjoy. And she's always Joy, you're the life of the party. It's cool to have you around. I really appreciate you. Salt and Light. Let's see. I had the opportunity to do an hour of Greek with him and James Smith from Disciple Dojo. Okay, so Colton Honeycutt, who you're talking about, I guess, has a YouTube channel. That's cool. I'll have to check him out. Killinger said, what's your current number one go-to Bible, the one you reach for the most? That's kind of a hard question for me, because I reach for, every week right now, I reach for 3 different Bibles for different reasons. So, of course, like my daily devotional reading Bible right now is the KJV Reformation Heritage Study Bible. And then, of course, my preaching Bible back there that I use for sermons, and then the Alpha right here is, it's kind of been my grab and go. I use this for pretty much everything in between. I teach our church on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights from this Bible just because it's easy to grab and go. I've really, really enjoyed the Alpha. Let's see. Joy, thank you so much for the super chat or whatever it's called. Is it called super chat? I have no idea. Joy, you're so kind. I really appreciate your support and just, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Let's see. Where was I at? Okay, Mitchell. I totally get you. The past few years, I started to shift from dispensationalism to kind of progressive dispensationalism to now covenant. Just a few months, just the last few. Yeah, I grew up in the dispensational church, and like I said, the people there, I love them. I'm not in that camp anymore, but dispensationalism is like everything else in that you have extremes. So like if you were to look at something like any system of theology, sometimes you can have a place where it goes too far. So an example of that would be like with Calvinism. If you have like what they call hyper Calvinists, or as we like to call them, the frozen chosen, who just don't believe in evangelism or anything like that, then yeah, that's a problem. But Calvinists in general, are orthodox, not orthodox like Eastern Orthodox, but you get what I'm saying. So with dispensationalism, most of the dispensational people I know are solid Bible-believing people. We just have a difference of opinion on the system. My dad is one of them. He's very dispensational, and he's one of the godliest men I know, no doubt. So yeah, but it's a journey, and I always like to say, even though it's good that we have convictions and we hold on to those convictions, that the Lord Jesus is going to come and correct all of our theology one day. I'm not saying none of us have anything right, because clearly it's important we have the gospel right and lots of things, but those nuances, they're fun to parse out. Let me see. Your video intro still chokes me up. Are you talking? It's twice porn. I guess you're talking about the Safari Man one. I had a lot of fun with that. Let's see. Godweir. I hope I'm saying your name right. I love your easygoing manner and openness. What's one piece of advice you would give to a simple man who is just starting a YouTube channel about life with Jesus? Yeah, I would say just enjoy it. That's the only reason I have lasted this long on YouTube, is because I truly enjoy the content that I get to make. It's fun to me. And if you don't enjoy doing it, you won't keep doing it. So whatever you're making content about, like you said, about life with Jesus, I mean, just, be passionate about that and enjoy it. Have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it and becomes miserable, you'll easily lose, steam. So make sure it's just something you really enjoy. Let's see. Mitchell says, I went to Appalachian Bible College, Fundy School, so it was great to break free from the circle. Yeah, I understand. The church I grew up in, there were some remnants of sort of fundy type stuff, but even those people now have lightened up a bit more. And when I say fundy, I'm talking about extra biblical conscience binding sort of things that, they can creep into churches. And yeah, I get it. Salt and Light says, I don't think he does, but works from, I have no idea what you're talking about there. Works for Bible Lingo. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone else. Hey, there's the layman apologist, my man, Nicholas. Good to see you in the chat, dude. Hope I didn't do something wrong by just outing your first name, but since you have it in your X feed, I don't think it would be anything, too bad. But yeah, glad to do the stream too, man. Joy says it is called Super Chat. Yes, good to know. Um, let's see. Douglas says I went to Multnomah Bible College back in the early 90s. Most of their profs were Dallas Seminary grads. Yeah, Dallas Seminary is definitely going to be known for that more dispensational side of things, and DTS has always been really close to me here in Texas. So, man, I don't know what's up, guys. My eye is like leaking right now. I've had some kind of bad allergy situation, and it is just like pouring out of my left eye. So, and I'm on allergy medicine every day. So trying to fix that. Let's see. Where was I? Twiceborn says, no, I mean the song that plays at the beginning of your videos. Oh, yeah. People ask me about that all the time. You know, the song that's in the beginning of the videos is one I wrote. It's called Fix My Eyes. And you can listen to it for free to your, well, I would say to your heart's content, but I think Bandcamp makes you pay eventually. But yeah, it is available on Bandcamp, and even if you did want to buy it, it's an easy way to support me. It's like $1.20 or something like that to download the song. There's a lot of other songs I have on my Bandcamp that's listed. But I'm glad you guys have enjoyed that song. It's cool. Let's see. Layman says, "Nah, it's in my bio, bro." Yeah. I figured you wouldn't mind me calling you Nicholas. Given that. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So there's been a lot of heavy things going on online, which I guess is kind of normal. You know, I had, for me, one of the heavier ones being my talk recently with Joel, which I did enjoy. But then just other things, like there's a debate that went on that I caught some of it, and there's just been a lot of stuff that's been like really heavy, and they're important topics, but I just kind of wanted to jump on here and chill for a bit and just talk to you guys. And one of the things that has been hard for my brain to adjust to, and actually Nicholas, my brother, really helped me with this, the layman apologist, and really connecting and understanding with the fact that there's a person behind the keyboard, that you guys are people. And it's refreshing for me to remember that. And I love getting to engage with real people. You're not just, robots out there behind a computer. You're like me, living your life every day. So it's been good to remember that. Let's see. Mitchell says, do you have book recs for Okay. Because of your question, Mitchell, I almost wanted to stick my foot in my mouth because I saw you're asking book recommendations for women, parenting, and women's ministry. And I was like, oh, man, have I been calling Michelle Mitchell? But then I saw the rest of your comment, and that really helped clarify. So your wife was wanting some book recs on the topic for womanhood, parenting, women's ministry, and a reformed perspective. So there's some that my wife has really benefited from that she likes a lot. She read a book on homemaking. I'll have to ask her. I forgot who it is that wrote it. But it's really good and helpful. Also, R. Kent Hughes' wife, I can't remember her name, but it's Disciplines of a Godly Woman. She's really benefited from as well. I would also recommend, just for parenting, both moms and dads, I've benefited greatly from Joel Beeke's book. I think it's like Parenting on the Promises or something like that. Joel Beeke obviously is Paedo-Baptist, I'm Baptist, so we have different views on baptism, but in general, I think his book was really helpful. And it's going to be reformed when it comes from Joel Beeke. So there's just a few off the top of my head. Let's see. He says, good advice. I'm getting more comfortable, but maybe too serious. I need to relax and have more fun with it. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. It's good to tackle serious topics. You need to from time to time. There's no doubt about it. People are dealing with these real things, But I also think that there's there's something to just having a more friendly conversation online like this that can be helpful for people to really connect with one another in a human way. And it's cool to chill out and sometimes talk about something that's, not quite as polemic or that doesn't bring up as many arguments, but just a general cool discussion and, talk and hang out. Nicholas says, it's been dark feeling at the moment, bro. Yeah, that's because the gospel has been shared a lot recently to a huge audience with people like Wes Huff on all these big podcasts recently. Yeah, I noticed that, Nicholas. I saw someone posted a link. I think it's the guy Andrew Scholes. He's like a comedian and has a big podcast that Wesley Huff was on. And I mean, he laid it out. You can't, there were people questioning if he actually shared the gospel with Rogan when he was on Joe Rogan. But on that podcast with Andrew Scholes, I was like, man, he laid it out pretty clearly, which I thought was awesome. Maggie Bay says, Barbara Hughes. I don't know. Man, thank you so much for the super chat. That's incredible, dude. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. I call everybody dude. But thank you. Wow. Really appreciate the support, guys. That's so meaningful. I appreciate it. I and just so you guys know, I pastor a small town. My salary's not great, and I don't mean that in a bad way. My salary's it's livable. It's not great, not because my people don't want to care for me, but we're a small church, and you can do what you do. And they would, I know them, they love me, they would pay me more if they could, but things like that, just the super chats and stuff, that's so kind and helpful to me. I try to make extra money any way I can, and you guys that's just a blessing. So thank you. I'm glad this content means something to you. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean something to you if you don't give me a super chat. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just blown away that anyone even watches me talk here on YouTube. So, let's see. Yeah, Andrew, or layman apologist. Yeah, that's him, Andrew. Yeah. Andrew Scholes. Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was incredible what happened there. Let's see. Joy said, I go to a small church too. I love it there. Man, me too. I really do. There's not a ton of people at our church, but the community is so close-knit, and the people within it truly love one another. And it's been a blessing to my wife and I since I got here to just be a part of that. And like I said, I wasn't trying to dog on them at all for my salary being not large or, I was not trying to in any way. So please don't hear that. Say my church doesn't care for me, because, man, they do. They go out of their way above and beyond to care for me. I'm so thankful for them. Above their means, honestly, sometimes. So, but I was just trying to make the case that the super chats and stuff like that are always appreciated and helpful, and I'm very grateful that anyone would care to do that. So thank you. Let's see. Salt and Light Disciple says, have you seen the new application study Bible? I haven't. I've seen a lot of the life application study Bibles and things like that. I didn't know. Is there a new one out? Mr. Dad says, howdy, Mr. Dad. Good to see you. Mitchell says, I love small churches too. And Joy says, yes, same. Yeah. I'm not trying in any way to demean large churches. I have a really dear friend who pastors a church that's over 1,000 people in attendance every Sunday. And yet I would say he has a small church heart. Like, he really wants to love all of his people well and know them well, and it's kind of hard to do. So, it's one of the reasons it's good to have a plurality of elders. But in a smaller church, it's just easier to kind of get to know people and really have fellowship with them. So, yeah. Let's see. Twiceborn says, I'm head of the ushers at church, and when I see the low attendance, it breaks my heart. How many people attend where you pastor at? Yeah, are you ready for this? This might blow your mind how small it is. On a good Sunday, we're looking at probably around 35 people. So, yeah, it's not super big. There's a lot of potential where I'm at for more than that. But, it's a smaller church, and I'm okay with it. It's been good. Let's see. Nicholas says, we know what you mean, bro. God's people give so graciously, and it's touching. Yeah, that's all I was trying to say. I'm thankful for anyone who would care to support me and my family and our ministry in any way. It's even, and I mean that monetarily, and also even just with prayers, and since starting a YouTube channel and going through some hardships and questioning whether or not to share some of those with my audience, and I have, such as us trying to sell our house, it truly brought me to tears, the amount of people who said that they were praying for us, which is just incredible. I'm so thankful for that. Let's see, Salt and Light. So if you know the NIV application commentary series, this is the study Bible version of it. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I actually do know. I know exactly what you're talking about now. It's the NIV application commentaries. I think I had one of those I used in Bible college. I think it was Douglas Moo on Romans in that series. I could be wrong. That's cool. I didn't know they were kind of transferring those kind of notes to a study Bible. That's great. Let's see. Mr. Dad. Oh, you're in a very small rural town, aren't you? Yeah, I am. So I'm in Texas, and I am about 30 minutes outside of Waco. So south, a little bit further south from the DFW area. I used to live up near Fort Worth, and then now I'm about 30 minutes outside of Waco in a small town called Dawson. And it's in between, a city that's Waco being a much bigger city, and another city nearby that's where we go grocery shopping because it's a little closer from time to time. So, yeah, it's a small town, rural area, country people, which is kind of what I grew up around. So it's, the Lord knew what he was doing, because I know how to relate to people, because these are, kind of my people. It's what I grew up with, so it's been good. Joy says ours is about the same size. At one point, we only had around 15. Yeah, it's, it can happen that way. And I'm always amazed at some churches' just perseverance, and you never know what the Lord is able to do. You think you're small, but you're still a true church. If you have the gospel, if it's there, and the Lord can use you, and he's used us in this little community, and we're super thankful. Let's see. Twiceborn says that actually makes me feel better. We get 25 to 30. Yeah. Hey, and I've found that there's a lot of Christians that's exactly their experience, that church to them looks like, a smaller setting. And that's okay. We're gathering together on the Lord's day to worship, and he's with us. We offer up to him a sacrifice of praise, and he hears us. And it doesn't matter if there's 10 people there or 10,000 people there. We're there to worship him. And it's always such a fresh reminder. Is it a blessing when you're in the room with a lot of Christians that are singing praises to God? Sure. But it's just as much of a blessing when there's 10. So I'm blown away by God's grace in small churches. Let's see. Maggie B says, our church is small too. We love it. Buffalo, New York. Oh, okay. Right on. Right on. You up north from me. That's cool. I love it. Mr. Dad says, I get it. I grew up in a town of 2,000 people. Are you ready to hear the population of my town? Now, this is not, believe it or not, the smallest town I've lived in, but I think the last time I checked, our population within city limits is like 800 and something. So it's definitely a smaller town. It's one of the smaller towns I've lived in. Where we moved from was quite a bit larger, but yeah. Maggie B says small but mighty. That makes me think of that movie Beverly Hills Chihuahua, because that's what the Chihuahua says. That they shake, but they are mighty. But yes and amen. The Lord is with us. Let's see. Salt and Light Disciple says our town has a lot of evangelism opportunities. We get maybe 50 to 60 people, I think. Yeah. Yeah, ours does too, even though it's smaller. Our church owns a small resale store downtown, and it's very not for profit at all. It's mostly, we sell stuff, but it's just to keep the lights on, and it's barely, it's not. It's to serve the community, but then also, when we've had people in our community who are in need, which we've had people whose houses burned down and things like that, we're able to meet some of their immediate needs, and then also bring the gospel with that. So it's been really cool. Thankful for that. Let's see. Joy said, "Amen." Mr. Dad, what denomination? We're connected to the Southern Baptist Convention, but we are kind of on the outliers of the Southern Baptist Convention. My church is a part of Pillar Network, which is kind of how I kind of brought that in with me when I came. Pillar Network is within the SBC, but it's kind of more of the 9 Marks-esque, Baptist movement. So all about emphasizing things like, healthy church with good church polity, with meaningful membership, live expositional preaching. I'm basically spouting off all the things Pillar says they're about. And of course, it tends to be Calvinistic, because that is me as well. But that's the main thrust of it really is just we're within the SBC, but it's more of a you have SBC churches that are more on the mega side, whereas we're more of smaller, more emphasis on some of those things. So yeah. Never heard of Pillar. Looking it up. Yeah, it's called Pillar Network. It's really cool. I did, before I came here, I did a we called it a residency, but it's kind of like an internship type deal at a church near Arlington, Texas, for a year, where I was basically a pastoral resident on staff there. I preached there and helped with leading singing and whatever else they needed, and it was a Pillar Network church. So that's kind of was my intro into it. Maggie B says, what are you preaching on? Right now, at my church, we've been going through the Gospel of John. So this Sunday, I'm actually preaching on the John 4, the first 14, 15 verses with the woman at the well. And I'm really looking forward to it. I love the story. You see in John, Jesus' personal interactions with these different types of people, and it's so cool. In John 3, we talked about Nicodemus, who's like the more religious leader, Pharisee, type guy. And then in John 4, we're getting with this Samaritan woman who is an adulterer and who is, as far as the class system, the ethnic thing going on with Jews and Samaritans. It's just so cool to see Jesus, how he interacts with these different types of people. I'm really, really looking forward to preaching on it. It's going to be good. Let's see. Mitchell says, what's your thoughts on Respectable Sins by Jerry Bridges? I think I've read that before, but honestly, if I have, it's not really popping up in my mind. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what I think, because it's just not standing out to me. Maybe a book for me to revisit. I have a couple of books from Bridges. I don't know if I have a copy of that one right now, because sometimes I cycle through books where I'll get a bunch of them and just take them to half-price books and just try and get some other ones. So I may not have it anymore. Let's see. This is Maggie B says, "Oh, nice. We'll have to watch that after. John 4 is amazing." Yeah, it is. It's good. And I do have if you guys ever, I like, and I'm not saying this to be self-promoting, but I like to listen to sermons from other guys. So if you ever want to hear any of the sermons that are preached here, there's a separate YouTube channel for that, where I upload all the sermons. It's called, I think it's called just FBC Dawson. But if you were to search FBC Dawson, Texas, it's going to pop up. You'll see our little logo that has the olive tree and the Bible. But that's where I upload all the sermons. So if you're ever wanting to see any of them. Mr. Dad says, my father-in-law is an SBC preacher. I'll have to ask his opinion. Oh, yeah, about Pillar. Yeah, it's within the SBC, but it's definitely, if you've never heard of Nine Marks Ministries, it's hard to explain it to you, but Pillar Network is very, it's essentially like a Nine Marks adjacent type ministry for church planting and revitalization and just association. Baptists are really big on association, so just connecting to other like-minded churches to be able to do work together. So, yeah. All right, let's see. I'm going to hang out here for another 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes or so before I had to go. So, if you have anything else on your mind, let me know. Twiceborn said, you like the sermon shorts? I appreciate that, brother, first of all. I got to say, when it comes to the sermon shorts, before I started doing those, I really, I kind of questioned myself about posting those. And part of the reason is I was concerned about, I don't want it to appear super self-promoting or anything. And I've heard other people talk about stuff about, pastors who post their sermon clips have a big ego and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't want to come off that way. I don't think I have a big ego. I know I'm far from the greatest preacher that's ever lived. But then, just through praying about it is like, well, if I'm talking about the gospel, if I'm talking about Christ, it's not about me at all or my abilities. So if it helps people in some way, maybe someone who's not a Christian at all will come across it and hear something of the gospel that is a part of the Lord's drawing them to himself, then who am I to not do it? So I throw them up there for both, an evangelistic sort of thing, but also just to help build up any others who may need to hear it. Because I enjoy watching other people's sermon clips, and it speaks to me and helps me. So I appreciate that, man. I'm glad it's helpful. Mr. Dad says, I grew up Free Will Baptist, and now I'm Episcopalian. Whoa, okay. Man, that's a story, I'm sure, how you get there. Yeah, it's so funny, I hear I know Free Will Baptist is a thing. I don't have any experience with it personally because, like I said, the church I kind of grew up in, it was more sort of like you had some sort of reformed-ish thought, but it was more of the in-betweeners. Like today, I guess it would be people who would call themselves like provisionists. You'd have some of that. SBC has always kind of been a big tent, and there are certain things that you can look for when you're looking up where to go to church. Like if you're looking for a church and you're Baptist and it's an SBC church, there are certain things you can look for that like show you, maybe, yes, they're big tent SBC, but here's maybe some theological leanings that you understand, separate them out. And so for us, Pillar Network is one of those things. It essentially tells people, hey, we're Calvinistic in our soteriology. At least most of us are. Our church, I'm a small town, so I'm pretty cautious and open-handed and loving to some extent. But the leadership and the elders will definitely be coming from that perspective. So it's just kind of like a theological identifier. We also have on there that we're a 9 Marks church and some other things, and that mentions the Second London Confession on there, even though that's not like for members, our statement of faith is the BF&M 2000. But I'm personally hold to the Second London Confession completely, and the 5 solas and creeds and all that stuff is on there. And we have it as kind of what you're going to expect when you visit us. Let's see. Jason said, hey, sorry for the random question, but do you like the NIV? I also use ESPN as one of my main translations. Oh, there you go. ESP. I was about to say, I didn't know ESPN had a Bible translation. Do I like the NIV? I do like the 84 NIV, but I don't have, even with that one, a ton of experience with it. I remember we used it a little bit growing up. I don't hate it, the NIV. There's talk about with the 2011 update that came out, are the changes massive enough that it affects things? And there's talk about, gender, language, and all that stuff. But I think the NIV is a fine translation. It's God's word, and if it's something that really helps you understand what God's saying, I don't think the NIV is deceptive. We'll just say that. Maybe a little biased towards egalitarianism, but people, I'm sure, would say that ESV is biased towards complementarianism in their translations, but not bias in the sense. I don't think either one in the sense that they're just like rewriting the Bible. I think they're accurate translations. So, there's my thoughts on that. Let's see. Mitchell says, Free Baptists were everywhere in the Bible Belt where I went to school. I've never seen that in my life growing up in MI. Okay, yeah. Bible school. Oh, when you went to Bible school, but not in your hometown. Okay, yeah, I got you. Free Will Baptists came out of abolition, and they have a big emphasis on you can lose your salvation. Okay, so yeah, definitely more in the Arminian sort of train of thought. Let's see. Yeah, and then y'all having some conversation down there. I hope I'm answering your questions okay. But yeah, I'm about to have to wrap it up, guys. I just wanted to pop on here and chat with you and get to see some of the people that watch the content on the channel and really just interact with you a little bit. It's fun for me to get to do. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for hopping on, having a conversation with me. It means a lot. Again, thank you to both Joy and Godwire for the super chats. Really appreciate those guys, and thank you all for participating in the conversations. Uh, really, really fun. Love the chill vibe we have going. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll do it again sometime. This is fun. I really like getting to do this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's good to have a topic. Maybe next time I'll have one, kind of topic for us to springboard off of, and then we'll go wherever. So, yeah, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you all and your support. I will see you soon.